Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. Today, here's what we're talking about. Without these two things or these two question words, success is nearly or could be nearly impossible. I'm going to break this down, and it's going to be really simple. It's not going to be complicated. Anybody can do it. But the question is, will we? And then I'll say, will we do it? Just kind of thinking about, really what success is. So what is success? And success is actually discovering the purpose for your life, discovering why God created you, discovering the thing that you're supposed to bring to the world or the problem that you're supposed to solve. That is true success. Now, here's the thing. How do we get to success? Now, there's many things that we do. We go to school, we learn, first grade to eighth grade, ninth grade to 12th grade, college, first year to fourth year and beyond, PhDs, all that good stuff. And have you ever seen a person that's gotten all the way as far as PhD level and they're still like, man, you know what? They may not necessarily be working in that field, or they may still just be trying to figure out, man, what am I doing? I mean, as a doctor, you're quote unquote a doctor at that point. But here's the thing, you can get so far in life when it comes to the methods. I think I was just I'm not sure who I was talking to, but I was recently talking to somebody, and I was talking about how all you have to do is get into certain things, like with school. If you get in, you'll finish. Like, you go from elementary, it's going to take you from elementary 1 to 6, right? I think there's 1 to 5, and then there's middle school 6 to 8, and then so on and so forth. And if you complete the work, you'll finish. But let me ask you this question. At the end of the finishing, what is there? Is that true success? No, it's not success at all. So one of the things that I've been looking at are questions and words and kind of like, what word should I use in order to take me where I want to go? Like, the first thing that a lot of times, if I came to you and I said, hey, why don't you go do X? The first thing you're going to probably say is, well, how do I do that? Wherein the how is it is probably the third question to ask. And usually you shouldn't have to use how. And this is something that I'm actively working on. That's what I'm talking about. So how is something that we get to. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever gotten to the point where you needed to know how to do something, and then procrastination showed up? It's almost like, oh, I need to know how to do that. Oh, I need to know how to do that. Oh, I have to do that. And what happens is, because we don't know how to do it, we don't do it. Here's the two questions. Word questions. Why? Why do I need to do it? Why do I need to do it? I think it was Dan Sullivan. He wrote a bunch of books. And Dan Sullivan said, the why is just kind of like where you lay it out. You lay out the vision. You lay out the mission. You lay out the reason. The reason is how it has to get done. And so you go out and you take this why, which a lot of times if you go into business, you do anything, it's like, well, your why should make you cry. There's all sorts of exercises to come up with a why, but it's simple, right? It's like, okay, if this has to get done, why? And then what's the vision for that? What's the mission for that? How important is that? And so you use that to get yourself almost ready for what has to happen. Now, we still haven't gotten to the how. We still haven't gotten to the point where, oh, this is how we're going to be successful. It's the next one that really makes you successful. It's who knows how to do it already? Who knows how to do that already? This is where small entrepreneurs, including me, have miserably failed. I think 2 days ago, I was talking about how I failed in business. And this is probably one of the reasons. I would have to learn how to do everything. And I'm working my way out of all these hows. So the first thing is why. The second thing is, well, who, 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 who do I need? It could be, who do I need to become? It could be that. Now, who do you need to become should be an overarching picture of the vision for your life. So that part is your job. That part is my job. The overarching vision for my life. Who do I need to become? However, if there's how to do something, like, say, for instance, I need to write a book. I know the topic, I know the vision for it, and then all I gotta do is find somebody to write it, which this is something that many people would not recommend. Oh, you're gonna write a book and you're gonna let somebody else write it? Absolutely. This has got me to the point where I'm like, why would I write a book if I know what it is I want to convey? If I can convey that message to a person who really knows how to write and tell the stories, and they can grab things from me, then they should write the book for me, because it's going to take me longer to try and write that book. Now, yeah. So, well, what about, all the specific knowledge? Well, I can give them the specific knowledge that I have about the information that I already know about, without me having to try and piece together writing a book. So it's like, well, do you do anything? like what is it that you do? Well, that's something else, because here's the thing. We all are a how in somebody else's who. We're all a how to somebody else, which means that somebody may come to me because, man, who do I know to do tax strategy? And who do I know that can save me some money on tax? Well, I know Jay can do that. And then when they come to Jay, then what happens is they come to Jay, and then I'm like, yeah. And then I'm going to go, who do I know that can help me to implement all these things that I don't have to do any of it? You see how the who's work? And then you keep going, and then that person could have a who. So part of learning how to be successful, is to find out, well, who's already successful. When I sit down and read a book, here's what I'm seeing when I read a book. Somebody that has successfully put together a thought that could potentially benefit my life. And I sat down to read a book yesterday. I just gotten it. It's probably less than an hour. And I think it was less than an hour. I read about 40 something pages. I'm reading this book and I'm just like, yo, this book is amazing. Man, wow. Because that person did exactly what I'm saying. They was like, well, who? They laid it out. They said why. They got a who. And then the who went and wrote the book for them. And I'm just like, you know what? This is something to implement. Without these two things, success is nearly impossible. What are the two things again? Here are the two things. If we don't ask why, and then create a compelling vision and mission of what that is, it makes no sense to move forward. I'll say it again. If we don't have a why, if we don't create a why and create a compelling vision and mission of what that is, there's no sense in moving forward into a how, because then what'll happen is a lot of people skip the why and the who, and they go straight to how, and then they start doing how, and they get burnt out. They get upset. They just kind of say, oh man, this is not working, because typically things don't work when you have to do it through sheer will. It's like, okay, so I need a why where there's a compelling vision. And what's crazy is this is on every level of everything that we do in our lives. At some point we get to you get to a point in your life and you say, you know what, like I just being successful is relative when you're just speaking about, I want to be successful in my business. I want to make money. I want to be successful in my marriage. All these things are great. But being successful in the point where it's almost like you have time, you have freedom, you have money, you're able to impact the world. Like, isn't like that? I would consider that to be successful. just having the money is not successful. There's plenty of people, plenty of money. But now here's the thing: I'd much rather have that. I'd much rather start off with that one, right? Just get me all the money. Right? Get me all the money first, and then like if that was possible. But let me ask: is that possible? It's possible when. This is where and this is where we're going to end here. It's possible when we know why and have a compelling vision and mission for what it is that we would like to do and to kind of help people to do. And then it's possible when we just say, you know what, instead of me trying to figure out how to do it all, I find someone who knows how to do it and give them the compelling vision, the compelling why, the mission, and let them implement and do all the things that need to get done. Look, guys, if without those two things, yeah, you could scratch I think we can scratch the surface of success. But when those two things are added, discovering how to do something is almost like clockwork. And it just keep watching. You'll see. I'll share the results. I'll let you know how things go with this type of framework because I'm implementing right now. So make sure that if you didn't catch it, the why and the who gets you to the how, which means that the how is what's going to bring you what you want. So pencil your stuff in, create your whys, and do all the things. And I'm telling you, you could potentially be very successful. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.